Hi you guys, this is Sarah from Houseplants Boise, and I figured we'd go over orchids today, what kind of environment that they live in and thrive in, and how we can kind of mimic that in our own homes. So orchids live in under canopy areas in the crotches, the branch crotches of trees. So you know how if I were the trunk and there were to be a limb going out, they would live right here in the crevice. So they don't actually live in soil. They're called epiphytes, which means that they live up and they have little roots that need air and breathe. Well, it's really moist and humid where they're at as well. Tropical rainforests and whatnot. So they're under the canopy in a moist, humid environment that isn't, it's like being in a bathroom or a sauna, like a shower, like all the time, but you don't get wet, except for when it rains, right? So like dappled sun and whatnot. But this is how they come in the store, right? So in those plastic containers, they got bark in there, and see how moist it is? Like this guy, oh pretty, it's like pink and yellow. I love it, it's so beautiful. Looks a little wet. I mean, yeah, healthy and whatnot. Some of the roots are starting to, see how they're turning yellow? Roots will die off from time to time, but when you see them turning yellow like that, it means it's like rotted out. So, and then this one is just super sad. It's planted in something a little bit different. So these are from two different growers. This one's got bark, just pure bark, and then this one's got the sphagnum peat mossy, starting to get that mold thing right there, the little nasties. See that? You can see the leaves, like they're just, it's not because it's dry that it's like this. They're all droopy. They don't have that rigidity like these do. These are nice and firm. So too much water, soggy roots. This guy's doing pretty well. Really don't see too much of a problem other than it needs a little bit more room to grow, to branch out right there. And then you can see this one's roots didn't get that opportunity because it was just packed, jammed down in there. It'll be interesting to see where the roots are once we take this guy out. So the pots, speaking of pots, so since we don't have branch crotches in our houses, we need to have something that can give the orchids a nice airy environment and then hold that media, which in this case is bark, chunks, and sphagnum moss. So I'm going to do a combination of both. So this guy right here had the bark, straight bark, and then this guy had straight sphagnum. So let's just mix it up, half and half, man, 50-50. Back to the container. So holes, air holes, and you know, you can go and you can buy those round pots with the holes, Fred Meyer's, Home Depot, Lowe's. But I found these ones and I think they're super cool. Like, I don't see why they wouldn't work out. Don't know what they've been used for in the past, but I don't really care. That's what I'm going to use them for now. This guy, the bigger one, he's going to love it. And this little girl in the heart, she's going to have the time of her life, I'm sure. So let's start with the little one. Actually, yeah, let's mix up the media real quick. So there are favorites. I have favorites. My favorite is Miracle Grow, coarse orchid mix. See the coarse? It's backwards for you, but it's not for me. This stuff right here can't go wrong. It says for epiphyte orchids, including Phalaenopsis, Catalea, Epidendrum, and Dendrobium. We have the Phalaenopsis. There's a reason why it's called that, by the way. Should look up I should look up what that means. And then this is Home Depot, Lowe's. They got this. I like it. Moss Lee Sphagnum. It's chunky. It's not that flat mat of the fake stuff or preserved. It's, see that? It's good. I like that. So I'll just dump it all out on the table. It's a little dusty, but I like to hand mix. I mean, you could put it in a pot or a bucket, but I believe in just letting it all come out. And then I'll break this guy open. Put some of that on the table. Now it's a 50-50. And the reason why, I used to just do straight bark, and I stopped doing that because it would start falling out the cracks in my pots. Or when I watered them, it would just go everywhere. And it's still gonna go everywhere because these roots, they just push right out. They are the craziest things to watch. I have 3 in my bathroom next to my shower in an east facing window, and they bloom all year long regularly, but they also push their bark and moss out all over the floor. So about once a week I just come in with a vacuum, which, you know, cleaning your bathroom once a week is a healthy thing to do. So, and then I clean it up when I do my regular bathroom cleaning. It works. Yeah, I actually want more bark. So this Miracle Grow is pretty cool because it's got that slow release fertilizer, the little pearls in there. And I know Osmocote's like a brand name, but so technically it's not Osmocote, it's Miracle Grow's pearls. But these do work through osmosis as well. So what happens is when it's moist, the media is moist, it'll suck the fertilizer out slowly over time, which is great. But so let's talk about watering. What I do for watering for my guys is about every 3 weeks, I fill up the sink and I add a little bit of fertilizer. I don't do full strength, I dilute it, so it's probably like only 3/4 what it should be based on the label, okay? And I soak them in there for a while, kind of forget about them, not like a whole day. So I'm talking like anywhere from 30 minutes to 4 hours, depends on where my head's at. And then I take them out and put them right back into the windowsill. Now let's say you don't have a bathroom that's conducive to orchid growing, or you don't have a sink, because sinks are a really good place to put orchids, especially kitchen sinks where it's hot, you have hot water going, you're rinsing dishes, you're making stuff, you're boiling water, really humid environment. If you've got like a kitchen sink with a window and you can put them there that's west or east facing, not direct sunlight, because remember these guys live under the tree canopies, so maybe like a northwest facing one, or I have a west facing window here, but because of the houses on the other side of the fence, they block the sun when it's really hot. So I'd say around like 3 or 4 o'clock here, it's still bright, but it's not direct sunlight, as if maybe I had an open area on the other side of me to the west, then it wouldn't be conducive, but it's fine. So yay for me. So let's say you don't have a kitchen window or a bathroom. Well, you can still put your orchid in an area that's open. Don't put it by a heater vent. That's not good. You can, but you're gonna need to water it more and mist it, because misting it does help, or you could put a humidifier there. There's solutions, or surround it by other plants so that the moisture in the soil from the other plants, as it starts to evaporate and come up, that the orchids can get a little bit on them. I do spray mine every once in a while. Not all the time because they're in the bathroom, but they haven't always been in the bathroom. I used to live in an area where I didn't have the luxury that I have here at this place, and I would miss them. So I'm just knocking all the stuff out of here. You can see where they propagated it, that little basket right there. It's got cocoa coir in there. I'm just going to leave that in there. There's really no reason for me to take that out. What's this? Oh my gosh, it's like a lollipop stick. You see that? I think it was the water wick so that the water would come up into the center and go out. That's ingenious. You know, these guys, they produce so many of them. They've got to find the most efficient way as possible to keep as many alive as they can with as little attention that they have to give it, right? Because they're trying to push stuff in and push it out. Okay. Kind of like animal breeders, right? Not saying that this isn't good quality, because it is. It's a very nice specimen here. This one, they could do a little bit better as to how they produce theirs. Okay, so I'll just put this guy, I don't know how much you guys can see. Hopefully you can see this. Right there, see that? So I'm going to fill it up and pack it out. I'm not going to push the roots out, you know, I'm going to let them just kind of sit where they're at. They'll eventually grow out to where the air is. The reason why I'm not going to spread them out like maybe you would with a typical houseplant to, you know, get the roots out as far as they can is because these guys will break. It's like such a cool texture that they have. Gotta try it, gotta feel one of those guys. They're just crazy. So anyways, I'll pack this stuff in here. And get it all the way around there. Yeah, this can be so cool, that white flower with the yellow in a white pot. It's all bubbly. It's like a bubble pot. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. At first I was like, what is that? Like, why? What would that be used for originally? I don't know if it was an orchid pot or not. Maybe someone put candles in there, or potpourri. Remember when potpourri was like super popular? My mom, she would have so much of it and it wouldn't always smell good and it doesn't last very long. I don't know what the idea behind that is. I'm a big fan of the candle wax melts because they smell so good. And if you have kids, it's exciting to watch the wax go everywhere. You just would not believe where you find it. Walls, carpets, on them. Hopefully my landlord's not watching. They aren't. Okay, so I clean up anyways. I'm very attentive to my children. I just don't always catch them in the moment of what they're doing. Typically it's afterwards. There are 3 rooms in this house, okay? Can't be in all 3 at the same time. Okay. And there's stools. Okay. They get on the stools. So yes, they're out of reach except for when they get a stool or like the laundry basket and tip it upside down. Smart. They're very smart, just like their mom. Just like their mom. Curious. Inquisitive. Okay, so doesn't that look stunning? Yeah, I want that. And you'll see it kind of shakes out a little bit. The great thing about the roots not being all the way out is where the holes are. You can just really tack it in there. And like I said, like, yeah, they want air and everything, but when they start reaching for those holes, they'll push the bark out themselves. So it's all right if it's packed in there. You know, you don't want bark flying all over the place all the time. So in general, right? I mean, it's still going to. I had made a comment about how they're low maintenance for flowering plants, and it's true, they are. So the only mess that I have is every once in a while the bark that they push out, which isn't a big deal. Like I said, you probably should be cleaning your bathroom once a week, okay? Or just any area that you have. And other than that, so they don't go through leaves very fast. In other words, like, because the plants are always going to grow up like a tree. And they won't be using their lower leaves all the time because these leaves will block the sun. They can't get as much sun through here. They're going to pop out new leaves. These ones are going to have to go away. And I do them a favor. I just take it off for them. Yeah. And then replant. So these guys do need replanted. I would say I do mine once a year. The 3 that I have in the bathroom once a year. I'll knock the bark out, get them out, get all the dead little roots that are chilling out of the way so that they don't have to hang on to that stuff. It's good to get rid of what doesn't serve us. And that is also applicable to plants. You know, they don't need that leaf. It's not doing anything for them. Take it off. They aren't using that root. It's not doing anything for them. Take it off. Just take it off. Just rip it off. You don't need it. They don't need it. And that's fine. Okay. So long story short, that guy's done. I'm going to soak it in the sink when I'm done with this. And then this one that I was telling you about, just being like crazy rotted, no air, curious as to where the roots actually are. I don't want this sphagnum moss to get into the good stuff because heaven only knows what's lurking in there. And then I can't reuse this media because it may be contaminated with some weird stuff. So I want to keep it contained to this guy. Quarantine. We can all relate to that today. So that's another thing to talk about just quickly. Anytime you bring a new plant into the house, whether it's outside, inside, reputable grower, whatever, keep your plants in quarantine, okay? Because you could be bringing in stuff like bugs, diseases, viruses. You just don't know. And a lot of times the growers don't know, right? Whether or not what's been going on. It's not no fault of their own unless they know. And then shame on them. You just know not that you wouldn't go back there, just to be extra vigilant about looking at what you buy before you bring it home. You know, and sometimes you don't know. You could get mealy bugs that are just in the very beginning stages of life. And then a couple weeks later, you're just like, bam. And that's because the growing conditions, the living conditions are appropriate for them, and they're going to take advantage of it. They're going to do it, man. So see the roots, look at how much I took out before I could get to a root. Like more than half. Okay. And this is wet, super, super soaked. And there is a rotted root. See how it's brown and mushy? That's rotted. Okay. So take that guy off. Yeah. And there are some green roots in here. They're tainted with a little bit of brown though. You see that? That means that it's just too wet, not enough air. Remember, these guys are epiphytes. They live in the air in crotches of branch trees. Yeah, so gotta air it out. I'm not gonna rip at it too much. I don't want to break what is there. There's some nasty stuff in there. So I'm going to throw this peat moss away when I'm done. No reason to hang on to it. Poor guy. Look at this. Look at that. All you pet people out there that are concerned about the health of pets and how they're treated and, you know, puppy farms and stuff. That's how I feel about plants. Like, these guys, when I buy from a big box store that just rotates things in and out, and I see a plant that isn't being treated right, I'm going to snatch it up, take it home, I'm going to treat it right, okay? It does not need to die. Oh yeah, this guy's got like 1 or 2 roots that are viable. I said I wouldn't go any further, but look at me go. Okay. All right. Put a halt to this. Now it's going to take a while for this orchid to outgrow this container. And when it does, like, it's inevitably going to lose some roots. It'll grow them back. Plants are tough. I was just talking about treating plants right. It is though. You know, good root prune. It'll be all right as long as you take a little bit of the what do you call it? The leaves off, right? Because if it's gonna have a reduction of its root mass, it's not going to be able to sustain the green matter on top. They work together, the roots and the leaves and the branches and the flowers. And so if you take a little off the bottom, you got to take a little off the top. It doesn't work the opposite way around though. Like if you were to take a little off the top, you don't have to worry about the bottom. You can leave the bottom alone. When an orchid is super stressed and it's like almost to the point of no return, and you see it flowering or a flower stalk on it, take it off, because you don't want it to have to put all of its energy out into reproducing, because that's what a flower is. It's a reproductive organ for a plant, and it takes a ton of energy. Ask any pregnant mom or nursing mom or any mom at all. You know, kids need their moms all the way into like their 40s. It's true. True. So do the plant a favor and cut it off so it doesn't have to put all of its energy out on that, and it can put its energy into, you know, loving and caring itself. Because plants need love too. Self-love, right? And you'd be giving that plant an opportunity to do such. You're just sacrificing the beauty of its bloom for a short period of time. No harm, no foul. It's fine. You'll get more in the end, right? You'll get more blooms in the end, because when you have a healthy, happy plant and it's able to give itself nutrients and energy, and you're helping it too by fertilizing it, watering it properly, and giving it a good environment to live in, it will be able to produce a lot of blooms. And I bet you anything, that's why my orchids bloom non-stop all year round. And orchids, here's another thing. They are photosensitive, which means that if they're getting the right amount of day and night light, it will trigger them to bloom. So let's say that you have your orchid and it's always a certain amount of time in the light, which would, let's say it's negligible. Let's say maybe 4 or 5 hours of direct sunlight, if that, or if it's like in an office space, and it's not flowering, well, move it into a west or east window. Give it supplemental lighting. Natural light's always the best though. Okay, so I think, and I am packing this one down. There's really no roots to harm on this guy. It's only got one root in there. That is super cool. And you can always put decorative accents. I'm big on decorative accents. My orchids have little geodes in them on the top, because it's beautiful to look at. Why not look at a geode while you're looking at orchid? It's just a little enhancement. Or why not look at a cute little glass owl on the side of it, or an elephant, or something that just makes you laugh. You know, I'm big on that. Like, I want to laugh. I want to laugh at my plants. And I want to love them. It's a healthy relationship. Joy. They give to me and I give to them. So that's that. All finished. Isn't that pretty? How those leaves just come down the sides like that. I'm excited to see this one grow out. I might hold on to this one. So as we're talking about decorative accents, this one's decorative enough, right? Simple, clean. The pot in and of itself is beautiful. And then this is actually a pure white orchid, and it's a little mini one. So it's got the white face and the white throat. It's all white. White and gold, so pretty. So I'm gonna keep it plain and simple. Now this one that's got this pinkish yellow flare, I've wanted one of these for a while. I am going to decorate the top of the pot because it's so, you know, there's a lot of room to work with there. I'll go grab it real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna do some moss, and I'm gonna do the green squiggly kind. I don't have the bag. I got it at Hobby Lobby. So these are all the different kinds of mosses you can use. There's like a whole bunch, but I'll show you which one I'm going to use real quick. It's the green squiggly kind. Okay. Now, a little bit goes a long ways. I don't need to cram it full of moss. It's just enough to like accent and highlight. So this much is going to be enough. And it's going to dance across the top. It's a little dancer. Now, I don't know if you guys watch SNL or not. I do from time to time. What I like to do is go through the YouTube SNLs, and because, you know, 10 o'clock on a Saturday night, I'm sleeping. I'm an older person that goes to sleep at 9 or 10. So I don't stay up to watch it. But there's this one skit, and it's these women coming together and talking. This lady, I'm pretty sure it's like a baby shower, and she just got a new house, right? And she's married, and they're talking about the cut. As one day they're just like, yeah, and I got the cut. And this lady, her hair's not as long as mine. It's about like right here. So it's medium length, I would say. And all the other ladies have the cut, you know, like daggers in the front, porcupine in the back type thing. And anyways, they were explaining to her that the kitchen is a farm and the bathroom is a beach. And it's true. I don't know if you've been to many houses, you know, women in their late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, on and on and on. This is a true statement. You're going to find pigs, plaid, checkers, hens, roosters, cows in the kitchen, and inevitably there is a bathroom with seashells and flip-flops and sea stars. Seriously, right now. So, since this orchid may or may not be going in someone's bathroom, let's put some seashells in there. Or how about just a seashell? Yeah. It's gonna be good. Oh, look at this one. Ooh. I like that dark little swirl in there. There's some hues. I don't know if you can see this, but there's hues on this shell that really complement that orchid's petal right there. We just, ooh, yeah. And then the bubbles, like the ocean. Oh, I'm creating a story. That's what I do with all my pots. I create stories. So anything I make, there's a story behind it. And that's more than just half the fun. Let's do a couple. Ooh, look at this one. Look at that. It's like not perfect, but that's why I like it so much. I don't know what happened to it. It looks amazing. So, how about this side? Yeah. So it's important, at least for me, to not just decorate on one side or to enhance on one side, but to do a full, complete design, front, back, side to side. Okay. Front, back, side to side. Let's do, a sand dollar. I think I have a little sand dollar in here somewhere. Always have shells on hand. Always have shells on hand. There's something so magical about the ocean. It's a whole nother world, like literally. Underwater, unseen, unexplored. I don't know where my little sand dollar went. I have no clue where it went. So let's do, I want something pink and feminine. Oh, this one. See that? So I've got this, and then this one's balancing the other right there. And then let's just put a third one there. So I'm also big on 369. Damn, you're fine. It's just like perfect. 3, 6, 9. You can't go wrong. My favorite number when I was a kid and throughout my whole life has been 9. And yeah, 3, 6, 9. It's just beautiful. That's it. That's it for this one. So this one's a beach with the bubbles, and the yellow is the sun. So pretty up in the sky. I could even go as far as that moss I put in there's kelp. That's what I'm gonna do. And then this one, in my mind of minds, it is a rescued princess looking for her true love, and she's been treated so badly she didn't even know she was a princess. Okay, I guess it's kind of like Sleeping Beauty, right? Aurora didn't know she was a princess because her evil stepmother, the company that propagated this, didn't give her the right environment, and so she ran away and she found her prince in shining armor with the gold and put her in the right environment, and she bloomed and she blossomed. So I look forward to seeing these come out, pure white blooms. I'm gonna go soak these in the sink for an hour or so, get the bark all wet, and then put them in my bathroom. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment. You can find us on Facebook at Houseplants Boise, or on TikTok at Houseplants Boise. Thanks.